12, 13 years of age, a little RTS prodigy, and now he's grown up. At that age, all that pressure, and also giving up a lot of what normal youth is. I wonder if that's going to be something tough for Maru.
You know, he's always been kind of shy, but really his play is what speaks for him. And I think that's where he's most comfortable. And over the years, he's only gotten stronger.
It's kind of like he's fulfilling a prophecy.
스타크래프트를 안 했던 시절 기억이 잘 안 나는 것 같아요. 중3 때부터는 계속 숙소에 있었던 것 같아요. 그래야 잘하는 게임이기도 하고 학교 생활을 못 해보는 것도 아쉽기도 한 것 같아요. 저는 애초에 적극적이지가 않았어가지고 친구도 별로 없었는데 제가 좀 적극적으로 다가가서 그렇게 놀았으면 재밌었을 것 같아요. 제 성격 때문이라고 생각하는데 뭐라고 말을 해야 될지 몰라가지고 진혜와 처음 왔을 때도 말이 너무 없어가지고 도욱이 형이 옆자리였는데 거의 얘기 안 하면서 지냈던 것 같아요.
처음에 성주가 들어왔을 때 진짜 말을 아예 안 했던 거는 사실이었어요. 정말로. 그래서 좀 어색하기도 했는데
성주가 예전 연습 방식은 좀 레더 위주의 혼자 많이 연습했던 건 아무래도 자기를 위해서 연습을 도와주는 팀원한테 미안한 마음이 좀 있어서 혼자 많이 연습을 했던 것 같아요.
아무래도 나이 차가 많이 나다 보니까 거의 공감대도 별로 없고 아마 그렇게 사람한테 마음을 주는 그런 환경이 별로 없었을 것 같아요.
That is it for Maru for the year. He's not qualified for BlizzCon. This is his last tournament, and he drops out here. It's a sad story, but this is where he.
작년에 GS에 32강 탈락했을 때가 우울하기도 했고.
You always question yourself after a loss like that. Starcraft is brutal. If you're knocked out of the last season of the year, suddenly you're not going to BlizzCon. Basically, your year's over. How do you keep that motivation? How do you keep moving forward?
I mean, when you lose in a moment like that, you're reminded that you're mortal, that you bleed, and that's scary.
블리즈컨 못 간다는 생각이 그냥 끝이구나라는 생각에 더 우울했던 것 같아요. 제가 그런 걸 말 안 하는 편이라서 그냥 혼자 삭히었던 것 같아요. 특히 성적이 잘 나와야 하는 직업이고 그렇지 못하면 사람들이 어쨌든 쉽게 잊어버리기 때문에 주변 저희 팀원만 해도 그냥 다른 선수들 보면은 다 사람 구해서도 하고 그냥 그런 거 보면서 나도 해야겠다라는 생각이 들어서 그때부터 제가 좀 많이 부탁했던 것 같아요.
성주도 그걸 엄청 많이 느꼈던 것 같아요. 왜냐면 이렇게 서로 의견을 엄청 많이 물어보고 그렇게 해가지고 정말 좋은 성과가 나오니까 그래가지고 그 맛을 안 것 같아요.
Something is different, there's no doubt. He's been considered one of the best Terrans in the world for years, but to be the best, head and shoulders above everyone else, this is a new Maru.
사람을 딱 봤을 때 그 느껴지는 분위기가 많이 달라진 것 같아요. 예전 같은 경우에는 같이 어깨를 나란히 할 선수들이 있었다고 생각을 하는데 현재 같은 경우에는 독보적인 선수라고 생각을 해요. 그 예전에 화려한 선수들과 비교를 하자면 그분들도 대단한 선수들이지만 성주는 아직 진행형이기 때문에 어디까지 치고 갈 수 있을지가 아주 기대돼요.
The ultimate champion of the GSL. I can't believe it. He's won every GSL contest this season. in one of the best finals we've ever seen in Starcraft 2. He has done it, guys. Maru is your GSL 3-time Code S champion.
Well, you know, right now, if there's one player in StarCraft 2 that's on the right path to catch up to God himself in Flash, it would be Maru.
타인의 기대는 좀 커가지고 좀 그런 소리 들으면 부담감이 느끼기도 하고 일단 제 기대부터 맞춰야 되지 않나. 그러려면 일단 우승이 많아야 된다 생각하고 또 블리즈컨 우승은 꼭 있어야 된다 생각하기 때문에 그런 선수로 남고 싶다면 일단 블리즈컨 우승을 해야 될 것 같아요. 저는 조성주이고 스타크래프트 2 프로게이머입니다.
One of the most dominant performances throughout the entirety of the WCS for 2018 in Maru. Will he be able to claim the World Championship? We're about to find out across these next 2 days. Welcome back to the analysis desk here, or couches, whatever you want to call it, as we get things rolling for our top 8. Our first match is going to be Maru going up against sOs. To my right-hand side, Artosis in control, and Rotterdam going to break everything down here for the best of 5 that's to come. Gentlemen, we're focusing on Maru first. Everything he's done this year is absolutely unprecedented when it comes to the Korean scene.
It's just so wild. We have just never, ever had it happen. There's no need to talk about MVP or MMA or any of these guys ever again, except to say that maybe they were the best until Maru came along. No one's ever done it, and I don't think it'll ever happen again.
Yeah, he had an absolutely amazing year, and he came into BlizzCon with that form, right? Like, that's always kind of the big question mark. Different format, bigger stage, had to travel. Not for Maru. He looked like business as usual, and he made his opponents look kind of bad. Now he's going to be going up against sOs, who I think is like, he's a little bit of like the rodeo clown. He's a little too weird for this to go as clean as that first weekend, right? Too weird.
Just mentioned there the Bonjour Ascendant. That's big words to be throwing around when it comes to StarCraft Rotterdam. But I mean, if there's a case to be made for someone doing as well as they have in Korea so far, if the road continues like that, we could definitely be calling that title.
His year has been ridiculous, obviously. Winning 3 GSL Code S's in a row, that's something that's not even possible. That's not supposed to ever happen. Then, of course, he won WESG in China this year as well. So yes, if he would end the year with BlizzCon, I mean, then you're looking at the best yearly performance of all time from any StarCraft 2 player. It would just be insane, but, you know, we're not there yet.
And people very rarely kind of just expect Maru's road to end here, Jeff. That would be crazy considering what we've seen from him the whole year long.
Traditionally speaking, going into BlizzCon, if you won Korea, you're going to win BlizzCon. You are the best player in the world, and a lot of people would side with someone like Artosis that says that Maru is the best player in the world and has the best shot at winning this tournament.
Well, let's hear from Mr. Artosis now as we look at the other player coming into this best of 5, of course, for the round of 8 is sOs. Artosis, you've been quite vocal about sOs's attempts and chances here to be able to topple the tide, as it were.
Well, I mean, let's just talk about what sOs has done and who he is. I mean, this is a 2-time world champion, a 2-time BlizzCon champion. He also won the big IM World Championships. Under pressure, there is no one who delivers quite to the level of sOs.
And he's not wrong. Artosis in sOs is very, very good. The gigantic but that I would add in here is that most of sOs's greatest moments, you have to look pretty far back. Now, I know we go to the GSL finals, and of course that was good as well, but Maru, I mean, you just talked in your video about him chasing God himself, and now you're like, yeah, but sOs is going to beat him? Would you make up your mind, Artosis?
He is but a man, and he can bleed, okay? I mean, sOs, you know, I feel like he is so underrated right now, and I know, Roddy, you're going to tell me, you're going to say, he didn't really play that good in the opening week, right?
Yes. That's exactly what I'm going to tell you.
But here's the thing.
You can't deny that, though.
We're not talking about Haas, okay? We're talking about someone whose actual skill level is so unbelievably high. His best games look as good as anyone's best games, and it's not like he has to play a flawless series. when you play like SOS, when you are a risk taker, you're a mind gamer, you have to fall flat on your face sometimes.
This salesman shows up to my door with this speech. I'm closing the door. I'm like, sorry, I got dinner.
Well, that's where I stick my foot in your door. And we keep talking, Jeff.
I mean, obviously, all of it are facts, right? SOS is a two-time champ, and he has performed on the biggest stages, and he has got the job done in the past. But in the end, I truly feel in StarCraft 2, there are levels to this game, and right now, I think that Maru is on a different level than SOS, and the past, to me, it just doesn't matter that much. If SOS plays the same builds as he did against Hero Marine, against Maru here, zero chance, absolutely zero chance.
Well, gentlemen, divided opinions here, but I want to hear from you guys in BlizzCon. Are you ready to get the top 8 going? That's what we like to hear. It is time for SOS going up against Maru.
We started with 16 of the best StarCraft 2 players from all around the world. And now with just 8 players left, it's time to find out which player will be the first to make it to the semifinal. And what a way to kick things off as we have 2 absolute legends of the game going at it against one another. Up first, we have a 3-time back-to-back GSL champion, and he'll be going up against a 2-time WCS global champion. Please welcome up on stage, it is Maru and SOS! Players, you may shake hands and get ready. Only one of these 2 Titans will be moving forward to the top 4 here in Anaheim. Let's head over to our casters, Maynard and Todd, to get things started.
The 3-time GSL champion going up against the 2-time world champion SOS. Once teammates, now rivals. BlizzCon, are you ready?
They sound ready, and so am I, Maynard. The rank 1 against rank 8 for the WCS Korea circuit, rank 1 against 3 in esports earnings, which these matter pretty much. It's going to be epic between these 2. A clash of styles as well. Both Protoss and Terran have been playing very aggressively with a lot of proxies in the matchup as of late, so a lot of question marks on how this might unfold and what strategies they're going to choose to use against one another here.
It's going to be a very interesting story, and there are a lot of people out there, including some of the guys on the couch, that think this is going to be a washout, that Maru is just going to clean the floor with his teammate SOS here. I respectfully disagree. I think this is going to be a very, very close series. While I do favor Maru in the end, just being the more solid player this year overall, SOS really does bring that X factor and that magic when it comes to the line, when these big, big dollar tournaments come up. $sign, oh $sign, as he is known throughout the world. La Cucaracha sometimes just never dies.
Certainly those nuts. Historically, it's actually been fairly close, 6-3 in Maru's favor, but as Roddy said, the past is in the past. It is here now where it matters the most, and where these 2 players are going to have to deliver their absolute best performance here in order to advance to the semifinals.
That's right, and we are just about to get into the game. This TVP promises to be a real barn burner, as Kalaris used to say in the day. I cannot wait for this one. Maru has been adopting a lot of proxies into his strategy. SOS has been relying a lot on Blink Stalkers and trying to make them sort of his clutch unit, sometimes adopting that very heavy gateway style, but also he's not ashamed to hide a Dark Shrine. He's not ashamed to go for something
he's proud.
He's very, very proud of it. Very proud indeed, because he gets to take big wins off the Terrans like your TYs, like your Marus. Can he do it on the biggest stage, the StarCraft 2, is the big question that we are about to answer for all of you right now. And we are ready, guys. Oh, baby. I'm feeling that energy in the top left from Generic Green Wings, already starting with a proxy. This is Maru! In the bottom right, about to deal with a world of pain. Also from Generic Green Wings, this is SOS!
And SOS, previously, we've seen him do this scout right after Pylon back when he played against Hero Marine. He knows about that meta with the proxies, and he wants to make sure not to get tricked from game number 1. Although, like Maru, he put his barracks on the absolute top right-hand side of the map. How are you even supposed to check for it upstairs, like up all the way on the top right-hand side of the map? Well, and Maru usually follows this up as well with the factory on the other side of the map, which he could hide as well on the right-hand side.
Terrans have just been moving their proxies further and further away from the Protoss as this.
It might end up in their base.
They might even go back at home eventually. But as it stands, Maru is going for this proxy. And SOS did the smartest thing here. Straight to the main base of the Terran. He knows where he is. He sees that double gas. He sees no barracks in the wall. He sees that single depot, and he knows that there's a proxy out there. It's up to him to realize what it is and what he needs.
And by the way, SOS, when he played against Hero Marine previously, he stole the second gas. And Maru, I'm pretty sure, knew about this, so he took his second gas just on time so that SOS couldn't steal it here from him. So both players have done their studies, and so far, I'm pretty sure that this is going exactly as how they had planned so far, with the pylon going down at the ramp here from SOS.
This one's starting to get a little spicy. Zealot on the way here for SOS, just for a little bit of Reaper defense back at home. He could potentially rally it across the map. SOS is trying to force a reaction here out of Maru with that pylon, or at least stop the wall in, so that he can force some forces and force some attention to Maru back here. Maru is very clearly looking to go for a couple Cyclones here to put the pressure on SOS. Probe gets taken down. The pylon is still there. Maru's just going to break one Marine off here to start working on that pylon. It's going to take a minute to get it down, but it is important to finish off that wall in, as the first Zealot is actually going across the map, not expecting a Reaper because he's seen the Marine.
Yeah, this pylon forces back at least one Marine here to come back and defend, but then SOS is going to use that to sneak in a Zealot, which I don't think can be walled outside of that wall, to then kind of chase on that Marine. So he's going to force SCVs to be pulled off potentially, unless he can kill that before and then re-wall. Cyclones on the way. We've seen Maru go for a Cyclone Marauder proxy previously against one of his opponents, but this time around it's so far across the map that he's just looking to pump out Marines, Cyclones, and then drop with Medivacs and have those heal. Oh, and SOS.
He's missed the starport, but he's going for the proxy here. He's looking to maybe catch the SCV. One Adept shedding into the main base. The pylon getting pulled attention away here. The Marine dies, so the pylon is living for now. Maru breaks off one SCV to continue working on getting rid of that so he can wall off. But this Adept is doing a bit of damage. However, the big scary unit is on the field. Those two Cyclones going 2 by 2 towards SOS's main base.
And SOS didn't expand. He's going for Blink Stalkers there. So if he can get enough of those, he might just be able to counterattack and win the game, provided he can defend well enough on his side of the map.
Nice preparation here from SOS. He's got those Stalkers on the way, and in true SOS fashion, instantly going into Blink. That shield battery finishing just in time. And as the robotics facility comes up, it gets easier and easier for him to hold against Cyclones. But it's not going to continue to be Cyclones here from Maru. He is switching over into Widow Mines and a Medevac to try and drop into that probe line.
Is he going up to 4 gates? Like, I see 2 more on the way there. Wow, okay, so that's going to be a lot of Stalkers. He's going to make sure that he gets, I guess, an Observer out there and a War Prism to go across the map and reinforce if he wants to go for the counter-attack. Like, will be interesting to see whether either player expands. I feel like whoever expands here could be in trouble against the amount of units that the opponent's going to be throwing at them. Triple Widow Mine loaded up in the Medivac here. Even if you're ready and in position against this, if one of 2 of the Widow Mine burrow on time, you could lose a lot of probes there.
Oh, absolutely. That's what these pylons are going to help him out with. The boost on him, but there are 6 Stalkers, Todd. He guns down the Medevac. Lands one miner, gets absolutely no damage. SOS pulls the probes there, loses a little bit of mining time, but absolutely worth it there. Great defense from SOS.
That was so clutch. And now SOS has Blink. He can just trigger that Widow Mine, blink out of there, boom, and then kill it. That's 5 Widow Mines and a Medivac that did absolutely no damage other than pulling the probes away from the middle line just for 1 second.
Wow.
SOS with a fantastic defense here in game number 1.
The cleanest defense, and he catches the Liberator. SOS is all over Maru. Oh man, and you just have to grin at this point. Maru giving his teammate the benefit of the doubt. The proxy has been shut down. He's been read like a book, like Cat in the Hat with 3 words per page. SOS all over this one. He's really starting map 1 very strongly here.
And for Maru to come back from there, it's going to be so tough. Still, some Widowmine getting caught. He's trying to fly back home with whatever he can, but we've got a Nexus on the other side of the map underway already. And SOS, I'm pretty sure, is already planning for the next defense with some more Stalkers back at home. Maru needs to find some damage. He needs to find some momentum in this game, despite the fact that they're equal on workers right now.
Well, this could be it. The Stalkers are across the map here. It doesn't look like all the Stalkers, but a good chunk of them are here to try and pressure that main of Maru. He doesn't have a natural yet. Nothing in the middle line. No reaction from SOS. Maru's about to get a bunch of probes here. Oh, man. 12 probes go down just like that. And all of a sudden, Maru is looking a little stronger here on his one base.
And this might force sOs to commit for an attack here. Maru's fully aware of that, knowing that all the damage that he did was crucial.
Guns down one Cyclone. Good start there for sOs. He can always blink to escape, but he's going deeper here into the main of Maru. Jumps on top of that Cyclone, guns it down, takes the Marine out as well. And while Maru is ahead in SCVs, that might be changing in a second here. GG! sOs! One of the few people in this world to upset the momentum, the three-time GSL champion Maru. What a start here. Potential upset. Oh, man. I'm already feeling it.
Right, all along.
There's nothing more infuriating than a correct Artosis. And if sOs gets another couple naps, we are going to be dealing with one.
Wow, what a great performance from sOs. This builds everything. The scouting early on really catered to everything that Maru was planning on doing. And despite not being able to spot exactly where the proxy was right from the start, he kind of read it into it very, very well. And he's done his studies. This is what you expect at this level. They've watched each other's VODs. sOs was like, oh, you like to proxy and be very aggressive on one base. Well, I'll just go blink Stalkers, defend perfectly what you're throwing at me, counterattack, and then kill you. And it worked out perfectly. So if Maru's game plan going into this best of 5 series here was to do a lot of builds like this, now all of a sudden, he has to question all of his build orders against what sOs just did.
Well, that's the thing in StarCraft is part of the reason why it's so wonderful is that, you know, there haven't been any patches for Brood War, but the meta keeps shifting. Players are figuring things out. This Terran meta that's been hitting the Korean ladder so hard, and even outside of Korea, Protosses are figuring it out. They are starting to find ways to make little to no damage and just force the Terran to make mistakes, to actually use it to their advantage, and then control the game from there, which sOs showed us. There was absolutely no point in that game where sOs was behind.
It feels as if you think a Terran is going to make his barracks outside, like somewhere on the map, all you have to do is scout after Pylon. And then if he doesn't have the barrack in his base, you just keep on scouting. You can steal his gas sometimes, which Maru didn't let happen last game. But you're really in control of that scouting a lot more than your opponents.
Yeah, absolutely. We're getting into map number 2, guys. Keep those vocal cords warmed up, because it is time to make a bit more noise here in the Anaheim Convention Center. And the top rat from Jin Air Green Wings, this is sOs! And in the bottom left, this, the Terran from Jin Air, it is Maru! Very early probe here from sOs, and he's dropping a Forge! Lost and found in its full glory here. This is how some Protosses love to play this map, Haas included, but sOs has far better mechanics and is a far scarier cannon rusher.
Warcraft 3 Reforge was announced earlier. He's going for his own Forge.
Exactly.
It's going to be down the ramp in that one spot where Maru won't have vision early on.
Maru won't have units.
Perhaps relying on the barracks not being in the main base, which makes it harder to defend against this.
Well, absolutely right. Like, if there's cannons hitting you, what are you gonna just fight SCVs when those cannons are done? I don't think so. Maru needs to see this with his SCVs and fight the cannons on that low ground and the high ground. sOs now in vision here, and Maru needs to start to react. The cannon rush has begun.
It looks so peaceful from his point of view. He's just like looking around. He's like, yeah, I'll make the next cannon here and just do all the damage in the world. For Maru to defend this is going to be so tricky. Now he's trying to start working on that one probe, but that's why there is a second probe, a Maynard probe here, to be ready and in position.
Well, this is already very, very bad for Maru, man. I don't see how he stops this. This is about the time when you start to lift your structures up, let the orbital finish, and try and save as many SCVs as possible, because he cannot fight this.
And sOs already thinking ahead. He knows that there's going to be potentially a Reaper counterattacking his mineral line. He's already got the gateway on the way, gets another cannon instead of his main mineral line. Going for gas, all he has to go for is some Stalkers, some Adept. He's going to force the command center to fly away already here because mining was about to be prevented.
sOs smartly cancelling that third cannon. He's put in a few hundred minerals here into this maneuver against Maru. But Maru is not dead yet. He does still have that factory across the map. And sOs has started a cannon in his mineral line. A cannon will be a nice start for his defense to the counterattack of Maru here. But will it be enough?
If there is any known regular StarCraft viewers checking out this game right now, this is not how your typical Terran versus Protoss usually goes down, but when sOs is involved, anything is possible. Maru forced to relocate.
Yeah.
sOs trying to stay ahead here any way he can. ahead of things that could be thrown at him. So he's got that Cyber Core here about to finish. And usually we'll see either an Adept or a Stalker starting, and then he has to choose for what tech he goes into.
I think the biggest thing that's hurting Maru here is that he didn't get enough gas to start a Cyclone. He forced a Hellion out here, and a Hellion's not really what you want at this point of the game. I mean, yeah, there can be all right against probes, but as we know, sOs already has that cannon in the middle line. Is he going to cannon rush from...
No, that gate is genius. He can reinforce there. Once he has Warp Gate, he could just swap in a ton of Stalkers and then force Maru to either relocate or take a bad fight up the ramp where he previously had a base there.
Well, this Hellion's using his superior range here to put some damage on this probes. There's no shield battery here, so they're not getting their shields back very quickly. The cannon is out of range for now. Maru doing whatever he can with whatever he has. As the Stalker comes out, this Hellion should be shut down. The two Zealots are never going to catch that little speedy car there.
I really don't know how Maru is supposed to defend if there are Stalkers warped on the high ground here above his base. It's going to be so hard for him, but obviously getting some Cyclone is going to help. Yeah, 2 more gates. It's just going to be a 4-gate Stalker.
Well, you know what? It could work out here. Once Warp Gate's done, like you said, he can actually warp in very quickly here in front of Maru's face. That Stalker catches this Hellion on the high ground, takes a couple zaps, gets pushed back. There is a Cyclone out for Maru.
That's a big commitment, though, because he has no transition possible. He's only on 24 probes. See, he's not making any more probes. So that has to work. If Maru somehow holds this, he's going to be way further ahead, and he will just have won the game.
Definitely, but the heat is really hitting here for sOs. Using that Reaper for some high ground vision so that the Cyclone can do a little bit of damage here on that Stalk, but it is only shield damage. The Zealots are coming on in. Maru just holding on with a few units here, and he's actually doing all right so far. Bigger repair here on that Hellion to make sure it's stand and fight against these gateway units.
Yeah, sOs falls back here for now. Shield battery going up on the high ground there. That's going to help a lot. If Maru even pulls some SCVs and chooses to attack there. By now, Maru should know what's happening. And actually, sOs warps in on the other side. Interesting. He's going to force an explosion here from that one Widow Mine and then remove it. sOs is committing to defend on the high ground. He thinks that... he thinks that sOs is going to be reinforcing there, but sOs is attacking at the front.
He is, and it looks like Maru's getting stretched really thin here. The Viking does do bonus damage against the Stalkers, but there's too much. The Stalkers pick it off out of the ground. Maru picking up his base again to try and go somewhere else. Repairing with that with those SCVs on that Cyclone. He actually doesn't have a ton of minerals to continue these repairs. And he just has to tap out. GG, sOs is on match point against the 3-time GSL champion. What? This is a big upset to start things off here. sOs gets that 3rd game. That Maru Serral final that everyone wants is not going to happen, Todd.
The potential massive clash between Maru and Serral in jeopardy. From the first series of the day with sOs against all odds, coming out with some insane defense in game 1 and now a cannon rush of all things in game 2. When do we ever see this?
Yeah. I mean, Lost and Found is the kind of map where that can happen. Generally, Maru is, I'm sure he's expected to fought that against that before, but I really feel like he needs to stop proxying. sOs is all over him, man. Like white on rice, he's got this. The proxy strategy, sOs seems to have figured it out. They are teammates, so obviously they play together a lot. They probably practice together a lot. But unfortunately, this is a best of 5 where only one player gets to go through and the other one is eliminated.
If somebody had told me that sOs or any Protoss would have been cannon rushing Maru successfully, I would have said, you're out of your mind. That's never going to happen. But sOs, the guy to come out with it and make it work beautifully. Everything was well thought of. It looked like one of the best things you could ever do almost at this stage.
He did make it look really, really strong. You know, it's one of those things where it's a little bit of an art form, but considering Maru was proxying, if he had a factory at home on the way and he had his barracks at home, he actually would have been probably okay. We'd probably still be casting that game, but sOs is just reading Maru so well. He knows what he likes to do, and he's punishing him for it. Can Maru fight back? He's got one more life in this series, but this guy's holding all the cards so far. In the top left, Engineer Green Wings, currently on match point. Make some noise for sOs! And at the bottom right, one more chance here. Make some noise for Maru!
Same old barracks across the map, but this time pretty close to sOs's base. Not quite hidden in a corner.
Not quite, and this isn't the greatest cannon rushing map here, so sOs is going for gateways.
Yeah, the same early scout from sOs, who again, not allowed to steal one of those gases. You see he was going straight for it. Maru does not let that happen. grabs that quickly for himself,
Yeah,
SOS will know, though, that there's a proxied barracks on the map.
So this means there will very likely be a proxied factory as well. I would actually love for Maru to make that factory at home instead and just rely on his barracks rush to get the damage done or to try and give him a little bit of an edge. It is very, very tough against someone as good as SOS to make that happen, though. The Cyclone's a really, really important piece of the pie. But SOS just doesn't seem to be afraid of Cyclones. Like, yes, we are going to see them, but SOS did such a good job on Acid Plant against them. Yeah. I don't feel very confident for Maru to do it again.
I mean, SOS has been reading perfectly on what Maru's been doing thanks to his early scouts, but the other way cannot exactly be said for Maru, even though like he's gotten some info here and there. Like I feel like last game he realized kind of late, like obviously the cannon rush he didn't see coming, but then he realized kind of late what was happening with the multiple gateways and stalkers.
I'm pleased to see the factory at home here for Maru, so he is chasing things up. Not putting his entire main out on the map this game, so he potentially could go a fair bit longer, but SOS, if he smells blood in the water, if he smells weakness, he can get aggressive with a lot of gateway units and actually make the game kind of short. We got that Zealot out for that Reaper defense. It does eat up those Reaper shots. You have to target fire here as Maru. Nice control from SOS so far. Nicely placed structures as well to keep that Reaper stuck in one direction.
Yeah, it will make it out though. Nice macro on the probes. Oh, he won't.
Got him.
Well done by SOS, who's now going to head across the map where we've got that one pylon in the wall. Kind of awkward.
Yeah, it's a little bit annoying. Obviously, a Adept can come across the map again. It is a little bit annoying. The Adept can come across the map again and once again, you know, do several SCVs worth of damage like it did on Acid Plant in Game 1. SOS is scouting for this proxy. He's not convinced that that is it from Maru, and I don't blame him. Here comes that first Adept to shade on in. Really nothing at home for Maru except for SCVs at the moment.
Yeah, usually when Maru goes for this build order, he gets an eBay block on the second base of the Protoss, but in this case, because of all that was happening, he had a pylon going up on his side of the map. Didn't quite go for it, but this is similar to the game 1 that he played against Sneeb, where he made the factory back home. That Adept is on a rampage.
Gets 4 SCVs, doesn't quite get 5, but a nice counterattack there from SOS, definitely using his tools to get as much done as possible. That Zealot's starting to work on the supply depot, but I don't think that's going to happen. This Cyclone is going to pop out. SOS getting a little spicy here, dropping a Nexus in the top right. Maru intending to take his natural by the looks of things.
SOS, he wants to get all the money, all the minerals in the game as a reason, as a way to get all the money in real life by winning this tournament here potentially. This is a huge move, which if Maru doesn't realize this is happening, it's going to be tricky for him to counter properly.
So Maru's doing something a little bit tricky here, hiding a starport under the bottom, trying to go for Cloak Banshees. This is something that Maru loves to do as well. He did against SOS in Super Tournament, but as we know, our historians out there, SOS won that series 3-1.
Yeah, this is actually, by the way, this build order is similar to the build order that Maru did against Sneeb when they played on Lost and Found, which was basically the same build as here, factory back at home, but then he went for a big push with Widow Mines, Cyclones. Remember that was the game where Stasis Squad trapped a bunch of units and then Maru still killed Neeb right after. So SOS, having seen those games, he might think that this is the same thing, but it's a Cloak Banshee against which like you need to be ready and in position inside of your base with your stalkers to make sure you're able to defend, and with an observer there as well.
You're absolutely right. The observer and the Blinker stalkers are exactly what you need to punish the Banshee, but they have to be there. They have to be in position.
If he's out of position, he just uses recalls, so that means he won't have it. Supposedly SOS should be at home, but if he was to move across the map to be the one that's aggressive with these units, then that'd be really bad, because that Cloak Banshee then would do a lot.
This is actually really nice for Maru. He's going to see that early gold base from SOS, which is very naked. He's warping in some Stalkers there to help out, but now Maru knows it's here, and it's going to be tough for SOS to defend in 2 places at once against Banshee.
And SOS going straight into charge right after that, by the way, so looking to transition into charge lots, maybe with a quick third and a lot of gateway units like we saw him play previously against Hero Marine. That Banshee didn't even get to do much, but he knows that the units are there in position. Now 2 more gateways already. SOS kind of worried that, I think, against some sort of big push, which we often see Maru do when he goes for Marines and Cyclones like this.
I think this is going to be one of those games.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
That's almost what he's expecting. Like, if I look at the production tab and the way everything is going down, SOS is anticipating this push, and if he gets the defense here, that might be his ticket to the semifinals, Maynard.
Absolutely, and he is doing all right so far. That Cloak Banshee, no observer support, is doing some damage here to the Stalkers. A second one coming down here. Maru has his sights set on that gold base. SOS is warping in to defend. The observer has arrived, so these Banshees can be taken out. One goes down. There's a siege tank here, though. Yeah, charges on the way. He definitely wants those frontline Zealots here to try and help him out against this army. Maru's push looking a little bit scary. A lot of those Stalkers are already softened up. Goes for the siege tank.
picks it off. Can the Cyclones punish SOS? Does Maru have enough DPS? It doesn't look like it. SOS gunning down these units, the SCVs for that mass repair, but SOS can warp in another round of units here shortly. That Banshee picking up some probes in the back line. The Stalkers get rid of the Banshee though, and the SCVs have nothing left to heal.
Yeah, the shield battery helped a bunch. Now Maru's going to be the one with his expand going up, but there is that huge threat. There is so many gateways from SOS. He's grabbing a Warp Prism, still killing those SCVs that were on the map. He could easily go for the counter attack here. Once that Warp Prism is out there, even warping in the main base if he wanted to. And for Maru to have enough, it's going to be so tough after this push.
He does have 2 siege tanks, which are fantastic against Stalkers. Getting the Observers is a nice start as well. The Observers have to go up there blind. Or the Stalkers rather have to go up there blind. He has a third one here with those Zealots. There's not a ton of units on that ramp, but that second siege tank makes things very awkward for SOS. This Banshee getting some probe damage, but of course SOS in a very good spot here with that gold base still providing income. Here he comes, charge is done, the Zealots getting in there, the bunkers are not complete. He guns down one of the siege tanks, and the second one trying to get mass repaired. Another Banshee pops out, a second tank for Maru here on the high ground, trying to fight back. Can he hold on? SOS is bullying through here.
Yeah, and the Warp Prism is going to help reinforce straight into the fight as well.
Oh no! The big upset here is SOS gets into the main, and GG just like that. Maru Cyril, the destined grand final, is crushed. SOS will be in the semi-final here with a 3-0 over the 3-time GSL champion. What a start here. I'm actually almost lost for words.
Yeah,
I know it's my job to talk right now, but I'm actually flabbergasted.
So many people should be as they were counting this man out. And he came out with some fantastic preparation that showed through, some great build orders, and he takes out the favorite.
Artosis was right. Cower in fear, Starcraft community.
Lord have mercy on us all.
Lord have mercy on us all. Maru had such a fantastic year, but could not end it up in the big final. And let's go to SOS and Smix on the stage.
Thank you very much, Maynard. Congratulations, SOS. Everyone looked at Maru as one of the tournament favorites here, but you took him down 3-0. What is going through your head right now?
일단 많은 사람들이 조성주 선수를 이제 우승자 후보로 되게 많이 봤었는데 그런 잘하는 선수를 꺾고 4강 진출한 소감 얘기해 주세요.
우선 좀 서로 잘 알다 보니까 좀 무슨 준비를 해야 될지 잘 몰랐는데 그래도 첫 세트를 이기고 나서는 제가 두 번째 세트를 준비를 했기 때문에 어느 정도 승산이 있겠다 해서 그냥 준비한 대로 했던 것 같아요.
So first of all, Maru and I know each other very well. We know each other's styles very well. So coming into this match, I thought it'd be a little bit hard in terms of the mind games just because of that. But after I beat him in that first game, I knew I had a specific strategy prepared for game number 2. And after that, I just kind of let momentum do its thing, and I was able to take out the entire series and move on with that 3-0. And now, talk to us about what it was like, because overall in this entire series, just as you just said, you just looked so prepared. Everything just seemed to go as you planned. So were you surprised by that as well? 방금 얘기했듯이 조금 준비성이 되게 잘 되어 보였었는데 김유진 선수도 좀 놀라웠나요? 이렇게 좀 압도적이게 3대0으로 이겨서.
저는 제가 이겨도 3대2로 간신히 이길 줄 알았는데 제가 생각보다 전진 게이트 프록시 배럭 대처를 잘 준비해왔던 것 같아요.
So for sure, I thought even if I were to win in this series, I thought it'd be a very close 3-2 series. So I'm definitely surprised that I was able to win 3-0. And I think part of the reasoning for that is I had such a great counter for his proxy racks play. And I think that was one of the reasons. And now moving on, if you want to make it forward, you're going to have to take down either stats or special. So what are your thoughts on those two players? 일단 이제 4강에서는 김대엽 선수나 아니면 스페셜 선수를 만나게 될 건데 그 두 선수들에 대해서 좀 얘기해 주세요.
우선 스페셜 선수랑 8강전을 같이 연습했기 때문에 스페셜 선수도 잘하더라고요. 그래서 꼭 올라왔으면 좋겠어요. 저도 올라왔으니까.
So he says, prior to the round of 8, I actually had a lot of practice games with Special, and I thought, wow, he's a really, really good player. So now that I've advanced, I hope he advances too, and I can face him there. So congratulations again on moving forward to the round of 4. First time since 2015 for SOS. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Smix. SOS, the master of chaos, thrives in the maelstrom that he created there. 3-0 going over to him. Unbelievable start. I'm going to ignore this gentleman as much as possible. Rotterdam, starting with you. SOS 3-0, I don't think we believe it.
No, that's stunning. That's stunning in so many ways. If you follow the year, if you follow last week, it is absolutely unbelievable. Now, there is one thing that obviously he said as well on stage, is they are teammates. And if there's a Protoss player, the more you play against certain aggressive openings, the better you get against it. But I think despite taking that into consideration, nobody saw this coming other than Artosis, because, you know, then his mind works in magical ways. But I must say, for how great SOS was, I also think Maru made a lot of very disappointing decisions in this best of 5.
He looked to be floundering by the halfway point, Jeff. It was all over the place, because he just, SOS put him in so many weird positions.
I mean, I hate to say it, but the more I kind of look at this matchup in the series, the more I agree with Artosis. Like, it's a...
Oh, no.
He is the foil. Like, and exactly what Rotterdam just said. If you know what to expect...
Didn't quite go for it, but this is similar to the game 1 that he played against Sneeb, where he made the
I'm hearing their commentary in my ear.
There you go.
My thought, just to finish it out, is just like, SOS is that smart player that Dan says he is. He is the kind of guy that could see something and say, this is going to be the response to that. I really felt it with that cannon rush in particular. It was like, that is so hard to pull off against Terran, but if you know that they're going to do the proxy style, it gives you such a huge leg up, and then every choice he makes after that's really great.
Dan, I suppose I have to talk to you about all of this. It's coming to the game that Jeff was talking about with that game number 2. Everything about it just felt fantastically thought out, planned out. The concept of the cannon rush into the Stalkers on the high ground, knowing that he was always going to expect him to go down to that lower base.
Well, I mean, if you want SOS to beat somebody, give him someone that's really talented, really smart, and give him a little bit of time to prepare that, right?
Yeah.
He's such a brilliant player that he comes up with these strategies, and this is part of the reason why he is a 2-time world champion. He injects more chaos into StarCraft than every other player in this tournament put together. And when you're doing that against someone who normally likes to take the lead aggressively like Maru, that player is going to be an underdog.
Yeah, it sounds like a cliche. It sounds ridiculous, but he just does instill it with chaos. And overall, Rotterdam, that was just a masterclass, really, from SOS, showing that he can perform on these big stages. He's in a semi-final of a world championship once again.
No, it was, and obviously the decision-making, and like Jeff said, I think the build on Lost and Found, I think that is very smart, because that is actually a good map for proxies, but once again, there's a lot of questionable decisions by Maru. We can praise SOS as much as we want, but you also have to be a little critical of the guy that dominated throughout the entirety of the year. On Acid Plant, he flies a medevac with 3 Widow Mines inside of a 1-base Protoss that's standing there with his Stalkers. That's very unnecessary. The proxy is already achieving the fact that Protoss is staying on 1 base, and then you're forcing a weird game where Terran doesn't have to play the catch-up game if Protoss just goes 1 gate fast expand. Him throwing away that first medevac and those mines, that sets the momentum for the entire game. And yeah, I think there were a few more moments like that. Like, yes, SOS was fantastic. Yes, SOS made very good decisions, but Maru also made a couple of very questionable ones.
And this does close the door on one of the storylines we went into with, right? Maru versus Serral? Nope, not going to happen at all. So now I almost needed some time to kind of recalibrate what I'm excited about. SOS going up against either Special or Stats, that's hugely, hugely interesting, because I'll tell you what, if Special can get past Stats, I think he has a much better chance against SOS than he ever did against Maru.
Maybe.
And that is something nobody was talking about. Now, I know we're getting way ahead of ourselves, but I'm just saying some of these storylines, and as they develop, as this schedule fills out, are getting kind of interesting.
Yeah, you say it closes the door on one storyline, but it certainly opens the door on another as SOS moves in to the round of 4 and is now 1 step closer to becoming a 3-time world champion. And when you see the kind of preparation that comes out of that series alone, it's really difficult to fault the concept of that happening. I mean, there's other big killers in the bracket, Dan, but SOS is in a scary spot here. He could potentially go all the way.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of expecting it, to be honest, guys. I mean, this is his tournament to lose at this point, especially considering he got past Maru, who we kind of consider the best player in the world.
Yeah.
The next matchup is not versus a Serral, who I think is the biggest favorite against him in the tournament. And so I look at this and I say, okay, I'm seeing SOS go up to that finals, man. He's looking fantastic.
Maybe. Well, let's take a look at the schedule, of course, as we have a few more matches left for you today. Not only our round of 8 as they continue on. Our next match, of course, will be special, going up against Stats. And we're on some big fixtures to come. But after all the round of 8 is done, we have our ASL versus KSL best of 5 invitational between the two players. Last and Rain flying all the way from Korea to fight against one another. Thank you very much, gentlemen, as it's time for a break here at the WCS Global Finals. When we return, more BlizzCon, more StarCraft 2, more action. Don't go anywhere.